Hi, Katilette. Um, I had I'm 15 now. I'm in year 10 in high school. Uh, I've been bullied since I was in kindergarten because I've always been a bit weightier, I suppose, than any of the other kids. And when 3 years ago, when I started high school, I thought I'd finally escaped all of the bullies, and it was pretty good for about a year, and then a couple of years ago, when I started year 8, I started getting bullied by two boys in my class, calling me fat, making fun of my hair, just everything I did, and none of my friends stood up for me, and none of the teachers really seemed to notice, and I would just go home, and then I was getting cyberbullied by them, and they got a few other people in on it for cyberbullying me on Facebook and things like that. And that continued on into last year because I was still in the same class as one of the boys who had been doing it. I'd already had to have 6 months of counselling, and I was going to the student wellbeing manager every couple of weeks to make sure everything was okay, and then the school still put me in the same class. And just I felt completely worthless, and it still continued on into last year, and I was still seeing the student wellbeing manager, and no matter what the teachers did, this kid did not care, and he picked up a couple of other people in my class that started to do it as well. And I had anxiety issues because of what had happened the year before with him and this other kid. And it escalated so much that just before the end of last year, he threw a chair at me and it hit me in the leg. And as he was walking out of the classroom, I hit the window to get his attention, and I broke a window at my school. And so when I broke the window, there was a massive group of year 10s waiting to go in for their end of year exams down at the end of the classrooms, waiting to come in after form assembly. And this happened, the senior school coordinator saw it, and then she came and started yelling at me, and I went into shock. My friend said that I went completely white, and I literally I had just punched a window and broke it, and I was completely I was frozen. My mouth, my jaw was it just dropped, and I came out of the classroom and I was shaking, and then the teacher was like, "Why did you do that? Why are you being so stupid?" And I was like, "He threw a chair at me." And so we were both kept back, and then everyone else was ushered away, and they started they got one of the maintenance guys to come and get rid of the glass that was all over the floor and everything. And I was standing there, and I was completely and then I was shaking like crazy, and then all these people from my year level heard about this somehow that quickly, and they all started coming and looking around the corner to be like, "Oh my god, she broke a window with her hand, blah blah blah." And I and then yeah, and I was oh, and I started crying. I was so stressed out and surprised at everything that had happened, and I was just so upset and angry that I just burst out crying. And everybody was there just watching me break down, and I was standing there and I was clutching my books so tightly to my chest, and my teacher goes, are you okay? Are you okay? Did you hurt your hand? And I'm like, "No, I'm fine, I'm fine." She picks up my hand, and it is absolutely covered in blood, and there's glass all stuck in it, and I had to go to hospital and get glass removed from my hand. And then I came back to school because I was going to the shopping, like to the mall, I guess, whatever you call it, with a couple of my friends after school, and I came back so I could meet them to go there, and like everyone, I was like swamped, like with people asking what had actually happened, because apparently like I just got angry and just punched a window for the hell of it, like, and nobody was like actually really knew what had happened. Like nobody knew what had gone through my mind. I hadn't told anybody except like the teachers. And then like I had to go have a meeting with the assistant principal and one of the Year 9 coordinators with my parents. And they said that like this happened on a Friday. And they said that on the Monday that I would have a meeting with Mr. Podbury, the assistant principal that I talked with, and the kid that threw the chair at me. And we had a meeting, and I was I got told to tell George that's the guy's name. I was told to tell George the effect that he'd had on me from bullying me for so long, and like George was meant to tell me why he'd bullied me, and George said that he'd bullied me for the fun of it, as something to do for the past 2 years. And I used to be a pretty confident person and like didn't feel too bad about myself and things like that. And he literally tore me down to the ground. Like I had no self-esteem. I hated myself. Like I'm still seeing the student wellbeing manager even now. Like I've never really fully recovered from this, and he's in my class again this year, but I practically have no classes with him because now I'm in year 10, so, but like it's not the point. I still have to see his face and know that he ruined my life basically just for something to do. And yeah, and yeah, and that video was like really good, and you said you weren't an expert, but I think you did pretty good with what you said, because you didn't say, oh, just ignore it, because that's what everyone says, and it does absolutely nothing. It just makes them try harder because they're not getting the reaction that they want. So thank you.